Welcome to Adderstone Game Stream. I am Kurt. This is Darren. Together, we are Wales' #1 hip hop band,
Yeah,
but also making role-playing games.
yeah. So the
Yes,
music, the music wasn't just you. That was B
Yeah.
doing my job poorly.
You look like you could be in a hip hop group, like a British hip hop group.
I mean, I want to
If
be.
you listen,
I want to play with Shaldo. So
what's your Do you have a favorite hip hop group, Darren?
that's a really good question. I have answers to this when I'm listening to hip hop, and then I forget when I'm not listening to hip hop. I'm a big fan of Run the Jewels.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of old school stuff that I like, but again, I just never
Yeah.
remember names. It's all just part of my 3,000 song playlist that just passes by every now and again. Yeah.
Yes, Darren has a giant playlist on YouTube where he just adds things.
Yeah.
And it's just a forever play. It's like a stew.
Dude, I love it. It's my favorite thing, and I don't stop listening to it. So I think it's almost 4,000 songs long now, and I've been curating it for 10 years, maybe. And
Share the link.
I don't know if I can. I'll try, but yeah. But the best part about it is that, there's a few things I like about it. One is that it's in chronological order. So I literally listened through the whole thing in order, chronologically speaking, and it's like going back through my life, because I get to like summer 2021, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I was listening to in summer 2021. This is the feeling of that kind of stuff. And then December 2020, and I just keep going back, and it just goes all the way back, and it takes so long. It takes me like 6 months, at least, maybe, to get through the entire playlist, and then I just go back to the beginning again, and it's all fresh again. And the other best part is that when I add new music, so I subscribe to loads of musicians and channels, and I listen to the songs, and I still have my DJ mindset where I listen to the song for literally 5 seconds. I can decide if I think I might like it or not, skip ahead, listen to the chorus or something else, and go, oh yeah, I think this is great. Add it to the list in 20 seconds, and then never listen to the whole thing. And when I go back to the beginning again, I listen to all this course of music that I've added that's fresh for me. So yeah, it's like a catalogue of my history, which is wonderful. The other part about it as well I like is I get to see all the rabbit holes I go down. Sometimes, like, I'll find a musician and I'm like, oh shit, this stuff's really good. Then I'll check out all of their stuff, listen to the whole discography and add all the songs I like. And then I get like that section in my playlist. I get to that point where I hear a bunch of their music and then I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then I go on to someone else again. So it's like mini playlists in my playlist.
Sure.
Yeah. The sad part is when videos get taken down and I don't know what they were and they're just gone forever. And one more thing I'll say before I let you speak is sometimes I come across a song that I go, I don't know why I ever like this, and then I remove it. But other times I come across a song and the introduction's really bad. I'm like, I don't know why this is on my playlist. This sucks. But then I think, wait, if the introduction's really bad, but it's on my playlist, that means it must get really good later on. And they always do. I'm like, yeah! I'm like, no, I never mind that song. It's awesome.
I think if you like that aspect of your playlist too, of like the sort of personal history aspect of it, I don't think you should allow yourself to remove stuff.
Well, that's what I thought, except sometimes I really do come across a song, I'm just like, I don't know why this is here. I kind of get why it should be here, but it doesn't belong, and it's gone. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's your playlist. You can curate it however you want, obviously. Yeah, that's interesting. And so there's no rhyme or there's no genre. It's just like stuff you like.
Yeah, pretty much. Although generally, because I listen to it while I'm working, a lot of the music is not vocal focused. If someone's singing at certain tempos, it can distract me. But that's why hip hop is cool, because hip hop is just like a constant running of words that you have to pay attention to understand what they're saying, because they're so fast or quick. Then that means it becomes really good, like listening music for me when I'm working. So, but mostly it's all about the drums.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. I have I actually this week I created because I'm a musician, I get distracted by music to any kind of music if it's interesting, and sometimes I can ignore it, and sometimes I'll listen to chord progression. Oh, that's an interesting chord progression. It's a minor 4. Or there's any number of aspects I could go down. But I realized that my favorite music to listen to while working and or writing are string quartets.
Oh wow, cool. Yeah, actually, there's not much classical or orchestra-based music on my playlist.
Yeah, but I have a 9-hour playlist of string music, but a lot of it is like Vitamin String Quartet. So like the first section is like Daft Punk string quartets and Justice string quartets and some of that kind of stuff.
There's like reinterpretation of like other music, you mean?
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of Beethoven and Lavelle and stuff like that too. But yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know why, like a string contrapuntal thing, it has enough like counterpoint and arrangement to like keep me engaged. But because I understand the form, I don't get super. It's similar to what you're talking about with hip hop. Like I can understand and focus on it, but I can just also let it wash over me and like ignore it, and that's fine. So that's my thing. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and actually Stephen King, he recommends that as in terms of working and writing, to always have like something going in the background to sort of keep you from getting distracted and trying to turn on the TV or whatever. Back when he wrote on writing. And his favorite, what he always talked about, is just having a big ass playlist of heavy metal. So that makes sense for Stephen King.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know, heavy metal would be too distracting for me because then I would get too.
Well, that's what I thought.
Into the rhythm.
Yeah. So I think it comes in bursts. Like, did you know the group Hanabi? They're
maybe, yeah. You might have told me about.
Yeah, they're a Japanese metal group of girls, kind of in the same vein as Baby Metal and Bandmade.
Yeah.
But they're so legit, dude. They look like they're manufactured by a label because they're so just like pristine and the music's so crisp and everything. But it turns out they're all high school kids that grew up together and just started a band, which is freaking dope. Anyway, they're awesome. And they're really heavy, and they sing about real stuff as well. They they have a song called "Asakani Tsurashimasu," which I love. It's so good. Yeah. And they have another one about like hookup culture on like Tinder and stuff from the girl's perspective, woman's perspective rather, which is cool. So yeah, they talk about real stuff, and the stuff's really heavy. And yeah, to be fair, when their music comes on, I have to like take a break for 5 minutes and like just like go crazy, and then back to work. I can't really work while the metal's on. Yeah.
That's useful too. No, I'll check them out. I do have on that note, interesting tangent. Me and Chrissy are gonna see Green Day this Sunday.
Really? Cool.
Yeah. So we're excited, and this is gonna be like Chrissy's 7th Green Day concert. Which is
big Green Day fan. Cool. I mean, Green Day. I'm a big fan of Green Day as well. I guess. Well, yeah, I am. No, yeah. So I'll say 2 things on them. One is I think Basket Case was the first song we ever learnt as a group with my friends as kids. That's like the first. Okay. No, maybe the first song we loved. It's the first song we ever recorded in the studio. We recorded a song of Basket Case.
You put a Basket Case in the studio?
Yeah. We played a cover of Basket Case. Yeah.
That's fun.
Recorded.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And it was so wishy-washy. I could barely get through that riff fill at the beginning. That feel that he does.
I mean, the drums are the hardest part of that song.
Yeah, it's really fast. Deny. So yeah, and then we played a bunch of other songs as well. So, and then what was it? I stopped listening to Green Day for a long time. I guess I kind of grew out of them somehow. I did see them live in the UK once. And then I watched. Drumeo? You must know Drumeo, the YouTube channel.
Of course.
Yeah. They did a piece on Trey Cool, like just on Trey Cool, and how iconic his drums are and everything. And then I watched that and I was like, holy shit, I've forgotten, but I know the drums of almost every single freaking Green Day song on like 3 or 4 of their albums, right? Like I just knew everything. It was somewhere buried in the back of my head. I was like, wow, that means I really listened to this music like a whole bunch. It's like a really big part of my childhood growing up and my musical vocabulary, and I just forgot about it. And so I started listening to Green Day again and went through their entire discography from the beginning to the end, and just listened to everything. And then I failed. I think I stopped before their last 2 albums. I think we got to American Idiot, or whatever that album was called, and then the album after that, and then I didn't get any further because there's just so many albums. We just got through too much. So what I was going to ask was, are you going to listen to the most recent albums before you go see them?
So I did. I have been doing that.
Hell yeah, cool.
And actually, so two before.
This is
the
now a
one
music
that came out
podcast, by the way. This is now a music podcast. I should change the title.
Yeah,
Straight, but,
yeah. We're definitely. No, and bards are about music. And
sure, yeah, this is a bardic content podcast, yeah.
And it's technically work. Part of our job is doing music stuff. So I don't know. Maybe we should do street music. I think it's interesting. We're both. Yeah. That should just be a different day. Like we should do the shout stuff on a different day and just do a music podcast.
Yeah, true.
But
on the side. So yeah, we're out of Celtic Games. We do game design, that kind of stuff. But also, me and Kurt are really into music, and we do music production, bands, and things like that as well in our time. Anyway, tell about your Green Day experience.
So, one of the Green Day experience is the fact that I started listening to them backwards, but I listened to the one last year called Saviors. Mm-hmm. That album fucking slaps.
Yeah, it's really good.
It might be the best Green Day album since American Idiot. It's very good.
All right.
And it's good from beginning to end, which is
all right.
Which
well,
I got the album before. I think it's good from beginning to end, and it sounds like them drawing both on like some of the songs feel like to me like Weezer songs written by Green Day.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because one, I like Weezer, and two, I think they're also drawing on like a shared tradition of like old school rock and doo-wop rock and stuff like that, and bringing it in and letting it inform their current musical style. So it sounds like current Green Day writing songs like old Green Day inspired by old stuff, but it still sounds fresh.
Because one thing I really appreciate about Green Day that I didn't really understand as a kid, but now I'm older and listen to more music, that they incorporated a lot of American folk music. And
exactly.
Which I didn't understand as a kid growing up. I was like, and then I was like, oh wait, this is like an Irish jig. Now I know what an Irish jig is. I was like, oh, this is like an Irish jig. Oh, that's cool.
Think for a Day, right? Is like just like an Irish that's Chrissy's favorite song. And you hear some of that stuff in this current album, but the lyrics are fresh and interesting, and they're still Green Day like pissed off at State of the World, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And relatable. Anyway, I think it's great. I recommend it very highly. Please listen to Saviors.
So when are you
number two?
Oh yeah, go number two then. You're on.
Sunday. So talking about
yeah, balloons. Oh, you did the peace sign. That's why the balloons came up.
Oh yeah. So Otoboke Beaver is playing.
Oh yeah, cool. So for people that don't know, Otoboke Beaver is an intense punk band from Japan. And I don't, when I say punk, I don't mean like pop punk, like Blink or Green Day. I mean like punk. Like they're as punk as punk can be, really.
Yeah, very much J-punk. And then we hang out with the guitarist from that band occasionally, Yoshi, when she's in town. But she must be. We sent her a message. She must be super busy, so I'm not gonna like push it because whatever. She's playing the biggest show of her life or whatever, the biggest tour of her life. But Chrissy's like, we're like one friend removed from Green Day, and she's like,
they're supporting for Green Day.
Huh?
Are you saying they supported for Green Day? Oh, that's what's happening.
They're opening for Green Day.
Okay, I missed that piece of information. I don't know if you said it or I missed it, but yeah, that's awesome.
No. Yeah, dude, so they're opening cool. So ostensibly our friend's band.
Yes.
Yeah, is opening for Green Day, and that's blowing our mind. So
cool. Because that's awesome. Because I once supported for a band that supported for a band that supported for Green Day. So I was like, that many steps removed. Yeah. But you're getting closer to me now.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll just see him at Legoland or something. So, so that's exciting, and I mean, I'm not gonna. If she can hang out, we'd like to see her because whenever she lives in they're from Kyoto. I think she lives in Kyoto. But whenever she's in town, it's fun to hang out with her because she's really cool.
Okay, so now me and Karen are just talking like friends hanging out, which is what we normally do.
Yeah.
But we can hop to it now, I guess. Any violent stuff we should talk about?
We're gonna work.
Yeah, we're gonna work.
So we are continuing our journey through the world of Legends of Afanc.
Before we do that, I don't think I have. I think I'm going to save the art again for next week and do like every 2 weeks to show like a big grouping of art. Is there anything you want to talk about or ask about what you're doing at the moment that
Yeah, well, it relates to what I think we're gonna talk about, and correct
Yeah.
me if I'm wrong. Is I'm working through the secrets
Oh
of the Pen
yeah,
of Ankh
so
right
that's
now.
relevant to the Pen of Ankh, isn't it? So we're going to delve into the Pen of Ankh
It is.
then. In that case, then I will
Yeah.
show what I've been doing quickly because it's not relevant to what we're doing later. Let me set up. So this is all in preparation for next week. What do I do? I'm going to click this button and then we should be here. Yes, we're here. So I've been this week doing the layouting for the playtest packet. Now, originally I was going to do like just 2 columns on a blank white sheet, kind of like what was it the Coast does for the playtest stuff, because that's all you need for playtesting. But then I remembered that I have this document that already exists that we did for the quick start preview, and it mostly is just a 2-page column anyway with some layout design. So I was like, well, I can just extend this and add it to that.
Plug and play.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, I have all this artwork for the Tower with Taig now for these different fairy courts, so I could just include them as well. So that's what I did. Cool. Yeah, so now we've got.
And
gone.
And again, give the backers some stuff to look at and mess around with.
Yeah, taste of what's to come. Yeah, exactly. So
progress. And a progress is a progress report too.
Yeah, exactly. So I've done all the layouting now for the face seeker abilities and how being a face seeker works, and then I've kept like the client instructions at the beginning just as an introduction to Avalon for people anyway, because that's already been made and there's no reason to get rid of it. And then I just need to add the GM's rules that I've written for how to adjudicate players when they pledge for a fairy pact, and how fairy tricks work, and how GMs might use them in other circumstances. All that stuff I've written, I just need to now lay out it. What's something else I wanted to draw your attention to? I can't remember. Oh yeah, no.
How long?
You gone?
How long would you say it took you to put this document together?
It was like 3 days of work, but it wasn't really 3 days of work. It was a couple of hours each day for 3 days that I kind of found space for amongst all the other crap that I have to do, which is annoying. I think I could have done it in 1 day, but there's never a day where I just get to work on it. Maybe I should force that to happen, but I'm always answering emails or doing art briefs or giving feedback to artists, or at the moment I actually had some stress yesterday and today because I'm
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I'm signing up with a new fulfillment company to fulfill the stuff when it's done, because I've had a terrible history of fulfillment companies, but I think that's kind of how it goes with our industry anyway. So for Legends of Avalon, I was signed up for one company, and then they suddenly raised their prices before fulfillment happened. They blamed the UK Postal Service, but like I don't care. I couldn't afford the prices that they then put, so I had to go with someone else at last minute, and they did a fine job, but it wasn't ideal. Then I re-signed up with that company again against the Fairy Queen, because that's the company that Modiphius was working for. And I was like, well, if Modiphius is working for them, I should give them another chance. We're kind of integrated in their systems already. And it was a disaster. I really did not enjoy working with them. It was so stressful. Just they didn't know what was going on. They kept forgetting things. I had to keep reminding them of stuff all the time. I had to be on top of them and knowing everything that they had to do while doing all the stuff that I have to do as well. And it feels like that's not my responsibility. They're supposed to take care of it. That's why I'm paying them, right? I shouldn't even have to know how this stuff works, because they're the ones doing that. And then Modiphius moved away from them. And I was like, okay, I can see why. So Modiphius has moved to another company, and so I'm going to try that company now. But that means onboarding again. So I've worked with 3 different companies at all 3 different projects. And so that means I now have to sign up with this group again, and I have to go through this rigmarole of, I'm not a registered company, I'm a sole trader, explain, tax and things like that. And whenever it starts up, they always give me these questions like, here, give us your company, number, information, and that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, I don't have that. Is this going to be a problem? And it's just always stressful that they might say no or yes. And yeah, there's all that complications. But it's fine. It's fine now.
Sure.
It's just always the stress of not knowing. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it on stream unless you want to, but I will ask you later, pick your brain about why, because it seems like there's a lot of fulfillment companies, because this is your third one.
Yeah.
But also, why is it so particularly hard for them to do a job that you find satisfactory? I'm interested in that. Is it just intrinsically a difficult industry to execute on, or is it just like it draws a certain kind of company or business people that aren't good at logistics for some reason? I don't know. It's weird to me that you've had to like do this 3 times instead of just finding a company you like and like.
I just think it's because it's essentially a factory industry, right? It's a factory process of taking things in, processing it, and taking it out. It's just a machine line, and so that encourages squeezing as much as possible, because the more you do, the more money you make, right? And then I think these teams just take on too many projects and don't have enough staff to cover it, basically. I think just everyone's overworked and stressed out. Because then I feel bad, and like I can tell that you're clearly got 100 things going on, and that's probably why this is all collapsing. But that's not my problem, is it?
Sure, I got you. Yeah, it's tricky. And then on your end too, we just need an assistant for you. You need a personal assistant.
Yeah, we need a bit more money. Yeah.
Anyway, that's cool. An administrative assistant for the both of us.
Yeah.
To take care of some things we don't take care of. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Right. So let's get started, because there's always more things I can talk about, but we can start.
But no, looks good. Good job. It's a cool looking document. Excited to see people's reaction to it. Yeah. And please give us your input.
Yeah. The most important part is going to be this page here. It's not done yet, but this is the second page in the document. It'll say, "We want your feedback," and there'll be a link here. Not yet, but there will be a link here taking you to a Google feedback form, and that's the most important thing. Even if you just read it and give feedback, it will be useful. Because I think one of the most important questions that's going to be on there is that for each section, there's going to be a question saying, "Is there anything here you didn't understand?" And that's the most important information that we can get. Is there anything here you don't understand? Because then we need to write it differently, or explain it better, or add an example. And that's a big difference. So even if you just read the document, you don't even play with the stuff, it's still super useful. And
I haven't looked at this document yet, but how do you imagine people do tests with this? Like, do you imagine that they'll just use it in their Afanc campaign right away, or that they'll create a mini campaign and play with the old
exactly, do whatever they want. If they're already maybe, I don't know, maybe that's something I could write on this page, is just suggestions, but I can imagine people adding it to a current campaign that they're playing, running their own one-shots, because the whole face seeker process is supposed to last over tens of levels of experience. Obviously that's not feasible to playtest the whole thing in a few months, so I'd also encourage people to just make characters of high level, with high level abilities as well, and try that.
I don't mind the idea of, I like that. Even if it's just a single page, like, here's some ways you could integrate it now, to play with it. I think that's
But I'm going to write this down here. Right, suggestions for how to use and play test this document. Okay, done.
And if you're listening and you have an opinion on it, Zolfia, or anyone other, or anyone in the stream, or in the YouTube comments, what would you do? What would you like to see to help you playtest with stuff? Because that's an interesting question, right? Like, here's some cool character options that we want you to play with. But if you're in the middle of a campaign, it might not be, and it's still like in a process, work in progress, you might not be ready to just like jump whole hog into it and so on. So it's, I don't know. It's something we can talk about more too. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, and then we want to playtest as well, but it's just a time thing. But we've got to do it.
All right, so we are chatting about the lands of the Northern Isles.
The Pen of Afanc.
The Pen of Afanc. Tell us about the Pen of Afanc, or should I tell you about?
I've been talking too much. You tell us.
So the Pen of Afanc are named after a mythical weird-ass beast that is some combination of giant alligator, beaver, disappearing thing, tentacle monster.
Yep, correct.
It's a very strange creature, and the people who occupy those islands are as mysterious as that creature. They live amongst this chain of islands, and they wear masks, especially when, everywhere. So because their goddess is the Ever Elder, the goddess of secrets, and so they value secrets very highly, and hiding certain things about their own feature. But they are very nice. They're very polite.
Yeah. These are some Afanc folk here.
Yeah, people get along with them ostensibly because they're also good traders and good craftspeople and so on, because they're on islands and they trade for a lot of stuff, and they're ostensibly a humble sort of seafaring and farming and craft people, right? That love secrets for secrets. Was it secrets, the ocean, and service, which are the domains of the Ever Elder?
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
Nope. That sounds great to me. Also, I just love this artwork because it has the feeling of playing role-playing games to it. I feel like,
sure.
Like just a storytelling culture.
They're playing. What's that old D&D joke? They're playing tax accountants and advisors or something, like the fantasy world equivalent of a role-playing game.
Oh, right, because
is them pretending to be
something mundane and normal.
Yeah. Accountants and spreadsheets. I mean, and that's where it comes from, right? That's where role-playing games come from ultimately, is storytelling.
All right. Games, so yeah, Pen Afanc. I think we always start in the capital, right? And this time the capital is on the tippy top. So let's start there.
Now, Now, also, because I'm working on secrets.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert! Cover your ears if you don't want to know secrets.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we will chat about it. All right. So where shall we start?
Yeah, we're going to start on the capital, Suihan Shinshie.
You don't want to start in the south? You don't want to start from like the mainland and then?
We started with capitals for all the other ones, so.
Yeah, but this is the Pen Afanc. They're
it's
weird.
Different?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like you should start with.
Then I will do as you say. It's fine by me. All right. In that case, then we should start with Kuina Shinshie.
Kuina Shinshie.
Yeah, I need to remind myself how to pronounce that. Yeah.
The other thing about the Pen Afanc is all of Avalon is inspired by Wales mythology. I mean, everything is inspired by everything in the Celtic, UK, and so on. But particularly the Pen Afanc are slightly more Irish inflected.
Yeah, and the Pen Levy are slightly more Scottish inflected. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Pen, and you would feel the Pen Leg are.
No, they're also Welsh. Yeah, so the Pen Draig and the Pen Baedd are primarily Welsh inspired. The Pen Cawr uses Welsh language, but it's inspired by South England. They're the ones that had the most contacts and conflict and alignment with the Raxians. And then the Pen Levy are more inspired by Scottish and use Scottish language and Scottish Gaelic, like Loch Leovan, that's Scottish Gaelic, Crannon. And then the Pen Levy uses Irish language and slightly more Irish culture. Although we're not saying that Irish people wear masks all the time, but
exactly. And they're not Irish, and there's going to be deviation and stuff, and stuff we take from other culture.
But also, like Ireland, it is an island that's not actually literally attached to the mainland, right? So it's its own culture and separate entity, and they often think of themselves as separate peoples from the mainland of Avalon, just like the Irish are and were. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any Irish friends out there, by the way, out of curiosity?
Yes.
No.
I know Irish people.
Do they hate the UK? Or do they hate England? I don't know.
No, I mean, sure, historically there's some jiving, but I mean, that's like everywhere else in the world, so it's hard to...
And sorry, Divi says we won't be able to help playtest so much later, no worries, and best you can do is read over the document and give your opinion. We appreciate that. Anything
for sure. Yeah, like I said, reading's good.
Don't feel pressure to play. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to read documents too, and your feedback's appreciate it. All right, so Kuina Shinshie, am I saying it right? Because it feels different.
I think I'm embarrassed to say I didn't write a pronunciation guide in here, and I rectified that mistake in Against the Fairy Queen. So let's find out. Because Kuin Shinshir appears in Against the Fairy Queen. Yeah, it's Ku in Na Shinshir. So Kuin, so the CU is a Ku, and then the AN is an I, apparently. Kuin Na, and then Shin Sir. So the SI is a sh sound, like Sean. And the second S sound is a normal S, so it's Kuin Na Shin Sir. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, what do we say about this here? We say this trade harbour on the far reaches of the Varna's mainland is located on the northeastern coast of the Aird Barrens, just south of the Kao Isles. The settlement is the main contact between the Afanc and the rest of the Varlek cousins. Trade occurs regularly here, and if one wishes to visit the Afanc Isles, here is the place to find and convince someone of the clan to take you. Kuin the Shinsir is also the meeting point for chosen bards in Philly before their journey to the annual festival of Knockna Philly, allowing keen fans of the Eisteddfod to visit and get a taste of the epic gathering without having to find a way to Knockna Philly themselves. So what we're saying here essentially is that the Afanc Isles are notoriously difficult to get to. This region on the map isn't really mapped like this. This is just an interpretation of the land. Getting from here and past the Kao Isles into the Afanc lands is extremely difficult and dangerous, and is something generally only done by Afanc sailors themselves. So if you want to get there, you have to find a Afanc sailor that will take you, and they don't just take money. They need to be convinced that you have good reason to visit their lands, because they're quite isolationist, right?
And yeah, and a couple of notes on this too. So this is also a major departure from the UK's actual geography, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's not really a what do you call it? An archipelago.
But there are some isles up, on the northeast of Scotland. There are a bunch of islands that are disconnected from the mainland.
But what we're describing is way more voluminous. Like there's a lot more.
Yeah,
right?
There's nothing too dangerous to navigate, at least geographically speaking.
The other thing is the Eisteddfod. Well, how do you pronounce it? Eisteddfod?
Eisteddfod. Yeah, you got it right.
Eisteddfod. The Eisteddfod is a very Welsh event historically, and does take place in Wales traditionally.
Yes.
Right. Like Ireland doesn't have its own Eisteddfod, does it?
I don't know enough. They might have their own kinds of festivals, but the Eisteddfod is particularly Welsh. Yeah, it's a celebration of Welsh language and Welsh arts that use Welsh language.
Yeah, and then a lot of like what we would call the Celtic, the Celtic Renaissance, the Celtic Renaissance of revival. Thank you, of the 19th century. A lot of it was centered on with a lot of Irish authors and so on, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of it's colored through that lens as well. But yeah, anyway, it's still a hodgepodge of stuff with a lot of Welsh culture being the focus, but it's kind of a mix of stuff. So the trade, Kona Sincere, and the other note is, so Kao Isles, do you think we need a pronunciation guide for that? Because I felt like every time I see it, I'm just like, oh, the CEO Isles.
Dude, that's never even occurred to me, not even once.
Really? Yeah. I'm just, it's the island of CEOs. That's
so funny. Yeah, that's never occurred to me.
Secretly, they're very. So here's the secret main secret number one: they're a humble seafaring and craftspeople, but they're actually very resource rich, and they don't want other people to know that.
No, wait. That still wasn't. That was your idea. We haven't confirmed that yet.
Okay, fine. That's my headcanon until it's put on paper.
I don't like it. If I'm honest, because what's the point of them trading then? Like, they should be resource rich in their own resources, but there's other resources they have to require, and that's why Kuin Shinshir exists, right?
Well, I'm arguing that they're rich in certain kinds of resources.
I mean, yeah, but that's
true. But they're richer in them than they would have other clans believe. Like they're mineral rich, for example. But they're not,
the mineral rich thing. I'm not sure about that. Like, we might have said elsewhere as well, because I know that at Kuin Shinshir, it's a big trading hub, right? So the Pen of Afanc there is where they trade with Avalon, and they mostly trade in rare dyes and corals and things like that they get from the seas. It's not stuff that they're mining, right? The mining happens in Avalon South and in the mountains. It just seemed it would seem strange to me if these islands have like metals and ores on them.
Yes, that's what makes it sweet. Well, okay. Anyway, fine. You can feel free to veto. You can feel free to veto it, but it's a potential aspect that tickles my fancy, and I'd like to explore it at least and have an argument.
Isn't the secret that like the stuff that they're trading isn't natural? Like that's what's interesting about it. Like, isn't that the secret? That they have all these rare herbs and weird stuff, and that's because it's from the other world, right? That's the secret, no?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sorry, that's the big secret, by the way. Wait, have we talked about that on stream yet? I think we might have.
We have, yeah.
Yeah. That actually the main island is actually partially in the other world and partially in the mortal realm. So it's in violation. Yeah, we did talk about that. It's a violation of the Everpact.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I can be convinced. Fine. I'll walk it back. But let's.
So we actually do visit Corin Nationseer in Against the Fairy Queen. So I need to include that as well, because in the campaign the players go to the Pen of Afanc Isles and they need to get there, which means they have to go through Corin Nationseer, and they go there to convince some sailors to take them to where they want to go, essentially. So they do exactly what we say here. So the whole town is actually described in Against the Fairy Queen and what is happening there. So I'm just checking now to see what we say about it. There's a nameless tavern. I can't remember if it's actually nameless or if it's called the Nameless Tavern.
I think it's just nameless. There's Gare, there's the dock and market, there's a trader, and then the sail to Arain.
Yeah, barrels of herbalists hawking exotic brightly coloured plants and herbs from the Pen of Afanc Isles.
Yeah, alright.
Tall woman. Okay. Yeah, there's not much here really, except that it is what we say it is, which is like a trade hub, with a mixture of peoples. There's Pen Draik here, there's Pen Calwer here, there's Pen Afanc here, and there's Pen Levy. There's everyone here.
It's a port town. Yeah. And so specifically, a big thing about this town is, which we're developing, and again, this is all being developed. Is it's also the heart of a what I call it, a trade. There's like a trade group, like a big trading company developing there, I guess, and it's like a coalition of some sort.
Yeah.
Mainly run by the Pen of Afanc. Who sort of coordinate between their wares and like other islands and direct merchants and stuff and guide them as needed for fruitful trade. So that's a growing concern in the southern Pen of Afanc lands, specifically in that city, in that town, which we'll go into more in this book and hopefully give seeds for some political and economic intrigue.
Yeah. You actually wrote a poem about Corin Nationseer.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Most outsiders know the Pen of Afanc through its trade settlement, Corin Nationseer. However, this town doesn't fully represent the homeland itinerant Pen of Afanc traders long for. Behind the Veil is a beloved poem often sung en route to the legendary bardic festival, the Eisteddfod, on the Isle of Knocknarfili. The rhymes rhythm with its alternate stresses is thought to echo a vessel's pitching on the sea. So from Corin Nationseer we sail past rocky isles to unveil, where sea and sky meld as one, painted by a shrouded sun. In homes of stone we seek rest, simple pleasures are the best, while humble folk fish and task, sweet songs soar from behind masks. Our kin who fear roiling seas cannot understand such ease. Like our god, we deign to leave. For mortal realms, she deceived. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's where that's the clue to the whole. What do you call it?
The Everelder is doing
world.
more than she ought to.
The land is. Yeah. So she deceived the mortal realms, and that is the one of her big secrets. We that's it. Right. I hit it in poetic form.
Yeah. So that is the only representation the Afanc have on the mainland of Ireland, right? The rest of it is
the specific the specific village. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So then there's the KO Isles. As we said, they're also called the Misty Isles. Yeah, are a natural barrier guarding the Afanc territory. It's a maze of fog-ridden, small, ragged, and rocky islets that are nearly impossible for sailors outside of the Afanc clan to navigate through without the help of a native guide. Yeah.
Now, I would like to ask you.
Yes.
With regards to the KO Isles, so map not to scale, right? So obviously, as you noted before, but also, how many, if any, of those isles are populated with people and tribes?
Oh, none.
Okay, so it's just like purely rocky.
Yeah, right? And they're not even that big either. That's my intent there. It's not like the islands, they're just things jutting out of the sea every so often. There wouldn't be as much space to live on anyway. Yeah.
And so you imagine then that once you get past the KO Isles, like towards Knocknafili and Soanchan Sincere, those are like larger bodies of land, and those are where most of the tribes are located?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And in this book, do we want to... I'm not sure if we're really talking about it, but we're not putting down hard numbers of like, there's about this many tribes and so and so.
Yeah, right? No, I don't think so. But there's a good way of thinking about it though. So like looking at the map, there's this five main islands, right? And I don't see why that can't be true. I don't think they necessarily have to be orientated like this. We could redesign how they're orientated, but yeah. Well, no, it's not true though, is it? Because if we want the Afanc culture to be primarily about fishing and sailing, that means all towns really ought to be near a coastline, right? And so,
yeah,
if we're saying if there's going to be a similar structure to the other clans where there's a few really big tribes and they kind of oversee other small villages nearby, then maybe there's 5 main islands that have 5 larger tribes around it, and then there's other smaller islands nearby with smaller communities. Which would make some sense because, so in Against the Fairy Queen, we visit a particular pair of isles called Orain, the Twin Isles of Orain. And let me get the map up for Orain here somewhere. Here you go. Here's the map of Orain. So it's there's actually a bunch of smaller islands. There's 2 islands here. There's East Orain and West Orain. They're separated by a strait. And then there's shallows up here as well. And then there's even another island up here that you don't really even go to. This is like a cluster of islands, and Orain isn't on the original map, and it's not one of these bigger islands either. So I think that must be the situation. You go on?
Well, yeah, and that's why I interpreted the KO Islands as being mostly rocky, but with a lot of smaller isles somewhere that can support tribes and life.
Oh, I see. I mean, I would just say that those islands that can support tribes are in this area, and I just wouldn't call that part of the KO Isles.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
so the KO Isles are specifically this kind of barrier, rocky collection of...
Yeah. So actually, let's write this down here now. I'm going to write it down, so just to solidify it. Let's say that the Afanc... is it Archipelago?
Was that the correct pronunciation? Probably sounds right.
Something like that.
Archipelago, as Americans would say. Archipelago.
It's made
Hey, we got a first-time chatter. Wait table. Welcome to your. Thank you for raiding. We're in the middle of writing and making stuff. Welcome.
Oh, cool. Welcome. Hello. Party of 9 folk.
Raid.
Did this happen like 20 minutes ago and we missed it, or have we just been yammering on?
That's all good. Yeah. Where are you guys coming from? Tell us your story. Where you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cut and I wait table.
Yeah.
You guys know that? That's an old boomer song.
Yes, we
as for us, we are talking about fantasy worlds that don't exist. and making important decisions about lands that are only in our minds, as one does when you're talking about.
So we make a Celtic tabletop role-playing game called Legends of Avalon. And we're currently working out some lore and what we've already stated about the Afanc Isles, which is one of our clans of Avalon. Making your homebrew yourself. Love that song. It's awesome.
Wait, was that popular in the UK? So Darren is in Wales, the
Yes.
UK, and I'm in, and although I'm from California.
I mean, we all know the song. I don't know how would that song be popular. I mean, did it ever chart? I don't think so.
Yeah, in like GeoCities. Remember GeoCities? What?
Yeah, I remember.
Put that shit on your. You put that shit on your MySpace page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back to that boomer song now. I think anything older than 2015 is now officially a boomer song. I hate to say it. Now that I'm interacting with children as a part-time teacher. This is a good question. Waytable's asking, what software did you use for your map?
Okay, so I didn't make the map. A good friend of mine named Joseph Hodgson made this map for our book. And he actually just did use some kind of like off-the-wall software. And I've already forgotten the name of it. I say already, it was 4 years ago now. 5 years ago. I think it is one of the standard softwares. If you know map software, you could just name a few and it'll be one of those. Not Wonderdraft. I think it's Ink something. Something to do with ink. And he used some standard assets for it and then made his own assets. Incarnate? Maybe.
Incarnate.
So I think the trees and the hills are default assets, but then a lot of the icons here are custom. And thank you.
I offered an original draft since I live in Japan. I offered an original draft in Microsoft Excel, but Darren rejected it.
Yeah.
He didn't think my Microsoft Excel map was good enough, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Joseph did a great job, and it's a cool map. It's a very cool map. And the maps for this book we're working on now, Basicers, Guide to Avalon, those are all hand drawn, right? Are we right?
Yeah. So we have actually, do I have? Yes, I have a finished map now. Where is it? Oh god, I have to go find it. So
you have one in the Afanc document, don't we? Like in the which is relevant, the Afanc cave change.
Yeah. I'll go look for it now. Art. Let's see. There's the art map.
Afanc.
Yes.
And if you're still raiding with us, what do you play if you play role-playing games? Do you play Dungeons and Dragons? True. Do you play Blades in the Dark? Do you play with yourself? Whatever, tell us. But keep it family. Oh, there it is. That's a hand-drawn map.
Yeah, it's a hand-drawn map by an artist named Melissa Nash. Ignore the white grid lines; they're not final. But this is a tidal cave in the Afanc Isles, which we're working on now. The idea of this space is that it is a tidal cave, which means as the tide comes in, the whole cave floods. So the adventurers only have a certain amount of time to explore the cave before they get flooded. And a trick of this place is that I really like the design of it, because obviously you come in here and there's a treasure cove here, but there's a cave in, which lets you know there's a way in there, but you can't quite get in. And you have to find the secret tunnels in these pools and swim into these other caves through these underground tunnels, essentially. And once you find one, then you realize that there are others, and you can start exploring and find the secret crystal cave. And there's also a room back here that people have been living in. And this map is designed for game masters to use for their own adventures. There's no pre-described things here. This is a space for game masters to fit in their own ideas and make stuff. Because essentially we're making a setting guide, which is the book that we're making right now. So you can make your own adventures in Avalon.
Yeah, check us out. We're making it every week. Now, Waytable said that they play D&D and they love making maps, which makes sense because I think everyone who loves fantasy loves maps.
Yeah, I love a good map.
I think Tolkien, right? Clearly that man loved fucking maps. He just said that was his fucking thing. And it's just in the genesis of the genre.
Wow.
I remember my first map was making one of my living room and turning into my D&D campaign. We'll talk about that on another stream.
Actually, as a kid, I drew a lot of maps as well. I remember when I was 11 years old, maybe, I built a sandcastle city on a beach in Cyprus. and then made a map for it and calculated the rough population of the people that lived there, judging by there's a number of houses, right? Each house must have 5 people in it, and then there's this building.
Oh, sure, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's like that is some 11-year-old logic. Like,
and I still have it.
Have 5 people?
I have it. It's that map is folded up and it's upstairs in like my treasure trove. I've kept that my entire life.
Bro, bring that to the next stream.
Oh shit, you're right. I should do that. Yeah, okay, I'll bring that next stream. Yeah.
And then Back Mike plays D&D, dabbled in a bit of Pathfinder. Yeah, so did Darren. Darren's one of Darren's first campaigns here.
I want to show off on that.
Please do. And Waitables all says same as them, their cousin. Used to make maps to follow them around and fight monsters with your 6 swords. The book looks amazing. Thank you. This is our work in progress.
This is against the Fairy Queen. This is out and about.
Oh yeah, this book you can buy. Yeah, we're on Modifius. I'll put the link to our distributor.
But yeah, I mean, if you've got players, this is spoilers, but I'm so proud of this map. Like, so this is a dungeon map. It's got a Metroidvania kind of approach to it, where you unlock certain items like this scythe here that turns ghostly things real, that allows you to access and solve puzzles in other rooms that you've already passed by and things like that. So, and the dungeon is modelled on a Triskelion, which obviously has Celtic implications of life and death, and that's a big strong theme about this quest and adventure. I just think it looks so freaking awesome. This is like my proud.
Yeah, you should be proud of that. It is cool, and it's an epic adventure. It is a very epic adventure. Yeah. It's like I have it right here. Yeah. I have the book in my lap right here, and it's fucking.
Oh yeah, show the 500
pages. Oh yeah, here it is. So this is against the Fairy Queen. It was nominated for an Emmy for the art book was nominated for best art. Was that the category? Best art, best design.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, Back Mike. So I kind of get it, but the puzzles we designed are kind of, there's like no-brainer puzzles, right? Like, you get an item, you're told how it's used, and then if you try using it, you'll solve the puzzles. Except the secret difficult puzzles give you bonus items, but they're not necessary to advance the adventure, right? So, where's that map gone? So
game design.
Yeah, game design, exactly. There's like these extra secret rooms at the side that give you extra rewards. The puzzles are slightly more difficult to solve, but they're not necessary to complete, right? And so that's how the adventure is structured, to make it so that it's foolproof somewhat. Yeah.
Thank you, Zilphia, for saying we did an amazing job with it. Appreciate you, Waitable. Your plays are crazy. They either prepped for Resident Evil puzzles or for kindergarten math, depending if they want to show up or not. Sure, but that's gamers. That's us enjoying the time spent together.
Yeah, you guys are funny. Welcome to the chat. I'm enjoying your company. Thank you for coming by and checking us out.
Yeah, we're exploring our world. So by joining the chat, you're seeing us make more. We're actually right now
we're recapping,
reviewing part of our world and talking about the stuff that we're writing now on the back end. And
so to give you a quick recap, we're talking about the Afanc clans, one of our 5 clans of Ireland. Each clan is named for a great mythical beast that the founding father or founding mother essentially slew to gain the territory. So you might have heard of Pendragon in Celtic and Arthurian legend. His Welsh name is Pendraig, which literally means the head of a dragon or the chief of dragons. So that's one of the clans here, but each of them are named after their own monster. And we're dealing with the Afanc, who are named after this water demon of Welsh mythology. Where is it? It's here somewhere. I'll just delete it. The artwork's not here, never mind. You'll have to imagine it. It's a terrible... Oh no, here it is. Yeah, this thing. So anyway, this is an Afanc, and the Afanc are known to slay the Afanc. And they're a seafaring community that are shielded from everything that's happening on the mainland, including the Raxian Empire's invasion, because of these set of islands that are almost impossible to sail through unless you're a native and you know how. So they have their own unique lifestyle and that kind of thing.
And we just established some details of the makeup. So we're basically saying that there's 5 or 6 main tribes, right?
Yeah.
Isles. I mean, I guess one of those isles is pretty big. Like, you could have multiple tribes. It could sustain probably.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. with leading.
But you don't want too many, otherwise it'll be like that doesn't make sense either.
Yeah.
Because
the way that we've set up this clan is that they are not resource rich, and that the island itself is worthless, right? They get all their life and their sustenance from the sea. So if there's a major tribe living here, there would be no reason for them to expand inwards because there's nothing here. It's just barren rock, right? And so instead you're more likely to spread around the coastline, and there might be another tribe up here. And literally they live off the sea. There's no reason for a town to set up in the middle of the island. So yeah, that's the intent. So you're right, there could be two major tribes on this island, but one would be over here and one would be over here, and they likely would never walk across the island to meet each other. They would more likely sail across the coastline. Yeah.
Ooh, Dixie says they want to make a map. Well, we'll make your dreams come true one of these days, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm planning to redo the main island map, but yeah. Salt
is an important resource. Yeah, salt is definitely one of their trading resources. They're also, I would like to say, yeah, they're good craftspeople too, right? Like dealing with stuff from the
Look, just to speak to your point, one of my original illustrations for the original Varnum book has a salt mine. Not a salt mine, sorry, a salt farm.
Salt farm, yeah.
Yeah.
Salt being a very important resource.
Yeah.
Also, a very cool name, Waitable, for your dog. It is a very McCool name.
Yeah.
What kind of dog is it? I'm curious. Thank you. Yeah, so that's why it's a award-nominated book, because of we work with human artists. We're human writers. We like humans, ostensibly.
Yeah, especially Celtic ones, but also non-Celtic ones too.
Celtic. Yeah, I'm not Celtic, but Chrissy, my girlfriend, she's like she has Welsh in her blood. I think we talked about that.
You know what's so funny is your name is Celtic, but for like the wrong reasons, right? Like it's not of Celtic origin, but Samson is a name that is around and about in the British Isles, but from a different etymology than yours. Yeah.
Right. So
as literally son of Sam.
It's okay.
Right? But
we can't all have that blood. But your family's Turkish, and there's some reason to believe that the Celts have origins in Turkish lands. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, down with Skynet, fuck the robots. You know, for many things, but I want to write stuff and make stuff with my friends.
Isles, with smaller tribes. No, I get rusty. I forget sometimes the terms of things. There's the Brenin, which is the king or queen of the clan. There's the Breyer, which is the leaders of major factions, and then there's the next layer of like local village leader, and I forget their name.
Did we not just call them chiefs?
No. There's an important character in the prologue as well.
Oh, there's hold on. Yeah. It's a word that I always mispronounce.
Yeah, that's all right. Fortunately, in the rulebook, I wrote all this stuff down, so I don't have to remember it. It is.
No, I have it here.
Arcadawad.
It is a minute.
Huh?
Oh, Cadawad. Oh, yeah. not Breyerkin, Cadawad. Oh, Cadawad.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're part of the Blaenor, which are the high class.
Yeah. The small neighboring isles with small tribes led by Cadawad. So,
that's right. The old lady that sends you on your quest.
Yeah. She's one of my favorite characters. Yeah.
Branwen. That's Branwen, right?
Yeah, Branwen. They are limited.
I wrote that. When I ran that adventure for Jason, our friend here in Japan.
Yeah.
Before I ran that adventure, I was just helping them make characters, and they chose names. And Jason chose to play. You know, he's like this 40-something-year-old man. He created an old female character named Branwen.
Oh no!
And so I had to on the spot change her name because I can't have two old ladies named Branwen in the village. Yeah.
So the peoples depend almost entirely off of the sea for their resources and livelihoods. As a result, all villages, towns, and cities are coastal. Boats are the main means of travel. So you're right. So you go on.
I can imagine some villages. I mean, they could have like some kind of thing, but it won't be rich, I guess. Like weaker metals or something, because they're still islands, right? Islands are. I'll do more research. I'll do more reading on like what would make sense. We'll do some.
Okay, so Korean Nationshire, we've done that. That's the mainland trade hub, the KO Isles, and the Hazards, done that. And then we have Knocknarvili, which is where the Icestead FOD takes place.
Yes. What did Itafod and also Zilphia? We love some old lady sass at the table.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep
That's why I make characters like that, because they're so fun, much fun to play. I always like a sassy old lady. Yeah.
I like Lilybeth in the Pendragon adventure that we wrote. Like your wife, your mother-in-law.
Yeah.
I think she. And also the villain, not the villain, the wife of what's his face of the bear? What's her name?
Talok.
It was like a. It was like a. Yeah, it was like she was like a Lady Macbeth type, and I thought she was dope because she was like very mercantile and just like pragmatic. I love that shit.
Where is that? The games.
If you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know. If you like artwork, then this book is obviously amazing as well. Who is it? Her name was Queen Evie or Eva. Evie? And my Irish pronunciation is always so rusty. But yeah, Queen Evie.
She was like a what do you call it? A Kickstarter character, right?
She was a backer character. Yeah.
But I had fun with her, so I was like, probably.
Yeah, it was one of those ones again where the backer said like, I want my character to be a queen, and I thought, well, we can't just allow everyone's character to be kings and queens in the round, but it actually works and it was fine. So I actually told her like, sorry, that's unlikely, but they ended up working. Anyway, come on, concentrate. Yeah. Knocknarvili.
Okay, so Knocknarvili.
Yeah.
Which is where the Afanc actually happens, which is the bardic contest. And then everyone sends their bards there. It's a cool rap battle. It's basically Woodstock for bards. And when they return, their reps are filled to the brim. So yeah, a big thing in Valak. Oh, yeah, no worries. Thanks for joining us, Wait Table. Please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Blah blah blah. Pew pew pew. And stop by whenever you're around.
Yeah, appreciate the raid.
So yeah, appreciate the raid.
Check out your stuff as well.
Yeah, and so there's not like a formalized writing system per se. I mean, there's like writing things that they do that are like writing like symbol adjacent, but not like what the Raxians brought over, which is like a fully formed writing into books thing. Yeah. So everything is transmitted orally, so to speak. So it's a very important like information and story sharing event to distribute new stories and so on, and with the goal of as adventurers being that you eventually have your story shared there. We haven't talked about this in any adventure yet, right?
Not in an adventure, no. We've just mentioned it as the main town where the Icestead FOD takes place. And that's
I feel like this is definitely ripe to be its own adventure someday. Of just like Icestead, like a whole thing. Oh yeah, and it also says the name for outsiders. That I probably won't say this right. Dion Eli
is
Eli.
Dine Ele.
Dine Ele.
We have a pronunciation guide against the Fairy Queen.
Okay, yeah. So the outsiders. And yeah, even though we talk about this town, we don't actually describe what it looks like or anything in particular about it, right? We don't know if it's a big town, if it's like...
But I mean, it's on the map, and it's part of this big event, so I have to assume there's some kind of powerful Penavunk tribe associated with it, otherwise how would they, gain the honor of having this event every every. I don't know how often it actually happens. I don't. It can't be every year, can it? It has to be every so often.
Most procedures will take over.
Then again, the Eisteddfod is every year, but the Eisteddfod in Wales actually takes place in different locations every year.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we say every year in Avalon?
I don't think so. To be fair, I mean, really, we should. I don't know if we're going to retcon this, but I really feel like maybe the Eisteddfod should take place in different locations. You know, it should be a traveling circus, and that's what it is in Wales. But we could stick to have it as only in this one place. Maybe there's other festivals. We should name another kind of festival.
Oh well, no. It says the most prestigious Eisteddfod in all of Avalon takes place in Town of Bards.
God, we're geniuses.
Because we're so mealy-mouthed and ambiguous.
But that's honestly that's the best way of writing things. Yeah, okay. So the most prestigious Eisteddfod takes place in Knocknarfili. So there are other Eisteddfods in other locations. Cool. That's great then. That's perfect.
We're laying it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eisteddfod changes every year, but every 5 year is the big one.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, you're right. We're laying it down. It's happening. Okay.
Yeah, we did it. Pew pew pew.
Yeah. Okay. The Eisteddfod takes place every year in a different clan and location, but every 5 years is the big one in the Pennebunk. Big one. Big one. Billy in the Pennebunk Isles. Yeah. And then that one always takes place in the same place for some reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess we should. There should be a tribe associated with this land, right? And then the surrounding isles. So yeah, there needs to be a name for this tribe, I guess. So yeah, maybe I don't know if we need to come up with a name of every tribe, but if there's only 5 of them, then maybe we can do. And
yeah, this is something that we kind of need to decide on is I mean, because what you could do too is like have a section for like the major tribes are called the da 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 da. Here are some of the major ones you could talk about, and it doesn't have to be all encompassing, but giving some ideas for names could be useful, and giving space for also game masters to like develop their own tribes that they want to explore.
Because
right?
the way Avalon is structured is again, there's one leader, the Brenin, and then there's the Breyer, which is the leader of the larger tribes that occupy regions of their clanlands. But then there are smaller tribes that swear fealty to the Breyer, but they're not big enough to be mentioned on a map or to be mentioned in the lore unless we come up with one for some reason. And so that's where the game master has a lot of creative freedom to be like, yeah, there's this tribe here you can be a part of, do whatever the hell you want with it, kind of thing. Yeah.
By the way, we got a new first-time chatter, Killer7 Gamer. Pew pew pew. Welcome, Killer7 Gamer. Is that based off the video game Killer 7 for the PlayStation 2 back in the late 90s, early 2000s, which was a very cool video game?
Cool, I hadn't even heard of that game. That's a deep cut.
That is, Killer 7 is a very weird, very awesome game from 2005, apparently.
Yeah. Yes, it is based on the game. Cool, nice.
Yeah. And the gameplay probably doesn't hold up, but it has a very cool story, and yeah, we can talk about that later, but on as a game design focus. But yes, welcome to the chat. Please tell me if you're a fan of that game, because that would make sense to me.
He said it's based on the game.
Oh, you did? Okay, good. Well, there you go.
And he also says, I like the design and map. Thank you. Just a quick recap.
You clearly have good taste.
Yeah, you have good taste, yeah. This is Avalon. This is our reinterpretation of Celtic Iron Age Britain, based on an old Roman map. This is our fantasy world of Avalon. It's historically, culturally, and mythologically inspired by Iron Age Celtic Britain, but it's not one and the same. And at the moment, we are focusing on the Pennebunk Isles, which is somewhat inspired by Irish culture and other things. Cool. All right, so done. The Eisteddfod takes place every year, a different clan and location every 5 years. The big one is the big one. Yeah. Cool. Love it. And then
African.
Yeah. And so you're saying that we should name the tribes here, basically. Probably.
Yeah, I mean that should go in the. Should that go in the secret section or in the no?
No, they'll go in the player facing.
Go in...
Yeah, because they might want to pick up tribes to be associated with or region. I was thinking more. It should be when we say tribe, we also mean region, right? Because they're one and the same thing. A tribe occupies an area, right? So.
Not necessarily though, because like so some of them are nomadic. The
Yeah, but
Levy
even then,
right?
they'd be nomadic around a certain region.
Yeah,
they don't just go anywhere. They have like the spots that they port of call throughout the seasons, right?
I feel like the Pen Levy would just go anywhere. I don't know, like just survival, right? You just fucking do what you gotta do.
Yeah, but we talked about it last time. Is that we imagine that there's some tribes that primarily live around the coast, and there's other tribes that live in the barrens, and they have different lifestyles.
Yeah,
but,
true.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, it is. Celtic culture is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Killer 7 It is pretty cool. Reading all about it, trying to share stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, that would make sense to me. Okay, fair.
All right, let's go on to Carn Arto, because that is one of the 3 locations that are on the map. And wait, we definitely mentioned this somewhere. How is it?
Sure do.
Up? It's not coming up on my search function. Did I spell it wrong?
It's on page 1. Are you spelling it Karn or Carn?
No, C.
Wait,
C.
which one?
C.
Oh. Well,
which page is it on? Oh no, it just took a long time. It's arrived. It just took a while.
I got you. Carn Arto is a popular story told throughout Avalon and tells of a druid who was once the favorite of the Everelder, but was destroyed by the goddess herself when his obsession with secrets and the pursuit of knowledge led him to attempt a ritual to usurp her place as a god. That's the origin of Carn.
Fortunately, Kurt really uses that voice. We can't have lessons.
Yeah. We can't understand the fuck I'm saying.
Yeah. Yes. So what is Carn Arto then? It is a tomb of giant stones, twisting passages. So this is a dungeon.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, this is a dungeon that stores the location of a druid that allegedly betrayed his god. You study ancient culture and mythology, but not done too much Celtic. So hopefully I learn a bit here as well as need to... Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah, well, we also love mythologies as well, but feel free to ask questions about Celtic myths.
2 questions. What mythology do you study and do you know a lot about?
Yeah.
And 2, just flex. My grandfather was a weird mythology studier in the Philippines, and he studied and be robbed in order to study the myth of giants in the Philippines. So it runs in the blood.
I'll say 2 other quick things. When we write our books, we always make sure to include bibliography that mentions all of the books that we used in our writings and inspired by. So if you're on stream, you can screen cap these quickly and have some good references for Celtic mythology. And then I also like to make art books for all our projects that show all the concepting and the design behind the world. And when we've done that recently as well, I also like to quote passages from the original Celtic myth texts that inspired some of the stuff. So that stuff's important to us.
It is, yes. There's so much, and it's fun writing stuff and reading, but we'll get into that. It's but there's invention too, and Carn Arto is a bit of a invention of our own. And
so
have
we
cool
know a secret about this now, right? Because we decided this the other day.
We do.
Yeah.
The secret being that there is a subsect of druids that know the secret too, and they're kind of like a counter. How do you say it? A anti-Everelder force, a disestablishmentarian force.
Basically, the druid Arto. The Everelder is all about secrets and uncovering new laws and wisdoms and learning stuff, and so their peoples are always extra curious and want to uncover things, and some things aren't supposed to be uncovered, and the druid Arto discovered, to his detriment and downfall, that the leader, the Brenin, the elder that rules their lands, is in fact the Everelder herself.
She's been pulling shenanigans. She's been, rather than staying in the Unwin, the other world, Anun, the other world, which was what the gods should be doing, she, part of her essence, or occupies a mortal body every 30 to 40 years or something, and that's how they, spoiler alert, do the succession. So there's a succession that happens of leaders, but it's always just basically been the Ever Elder fucking brain taking over another person's body, occupying their. So spoiler alert.
Human vessel.
Body snatcher. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Egyptian Viking history. That's some good history. And adjacent to a lot of stuff that we're talking about, because Iron Age stuff is definitely prevalent there. We're interested in Iron Age cultures as well. Interesting combination, but both really good, interesting cultures. Agreed, Delphia. Agreed. So yeah. So Carn Arto does have a where it says, "Legends say that his words were vowed to one day return and resume control of his conclave." We are going to describe the conclave in this section of
because it's an interesting thing is because they don't know. I think I don't know if they know or not. It's more that they're trying to find out, or is it that they know and they're trying to keep the secret alive?
I think they strongly suspect, or they know that something with the ruler of Anshinshir, but they don't know that exact secret yet.
Right. But they have to talk in riddles because they know that the knowledge is dangerous, right?
Yeah, and they can't. It's dangerous. That's why the balloons are popping up. It's dangerous, and sorry. And so that's why they have to work clandestinely, right? Yeah. So they might not be so open, and they might be part of other tribes or whatever. But it's like basically they're conspiracy theorists in their group, right? Like they know what's up. And
should the location of Carn Arto be a secret as well? Like if there's hundreds of isles, should the location of Carn Arto be a secret as well? Like should it be difficult to find? There's lots of isles. It could be on one of them.
Yeah, I think it should be for two reasons. One being that if it's a punishment, then it's better that it gets hidden away somewhere, or their essence gets hit. Well, okay. The question is, who his followers constructed Carn Arto? So the followers constructed it in order to preserve his body or his secret or whatever, right? So
so they know where it is. It's a secret to everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a secret to everyone else except for the conclave, and that could be where they gather and so on.
Yeah.
So Zoe says it should be hard to find / a secret. Yeah, so it's a secret, and only the conclave really knows about it, and maybe the royal household is trying to find it, but they haven't found it yet.
Because it's a threat to them. Yeah.
Yeah, and that could be a fun adventure site, right? Like, oh, okay, well, we could find out the Ever Elder's secret. That could be the adventure where you discover the Ever Elder's secret is going to Carn Arto.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Killer 7 says that you're slowly trying to learn most, if not all, Asian cultures currently doing samurai. Oh yeah, awesome. Please, that's where I'm in Japan, so I approve. Darren's in Wales, but he lives in Japan, so he approves as well. I imagine.
Yeah.
I got that. Yeah, I'm trying to get a samurai ponytail going, but not the what's it called? Anyway, the bald spot. So I like that. I like the idea of the conclave finding an isle bearing. I mean, it could be amongst the KO Isles, right? Like it could be like a fucking event, like in the middle.
It could be, but like on this original map, it's just clearly not there though. So.
You put it right there. You put it on that island. Yeah. So it could be a secret somewhere on that isle.
All right, moving on. So Twin Isles of Arraign. So this is another interesting one. The Twin Isles of Arraign aren't mentioned in the original Legends of Ireland book. It is a pair of islands that I invented for the horror adventure in Against the Fairy Queen. They aren't of particular significance because they are run down at the beginning of this adventure, and it's a mystery that you have to uncover. But I feel like we should mention it in at least passing so that there is a setup for Against the Fairy Queen, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
And that we do have that poem about the terrible curse, right? That there's a legendary island with the curse. So that works. Cool. Yeah, I'm done with that.
I actually want to check something. I want to check, did we call him a Breyer or a Kedavard? Lachlan. No, we call him a Breya. Interesting. So this was one of the larger tribes because they have a Breya, not a Kedawad. But it's no longer that case. That title is more of a formality now because it honestly is not really a ruler or anything that has any kind of power or control. So it is more like a fallen tribe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's where we can mention them. We can say that there's these major tribes now, and there was Arain, but Arain has fallen to a curse, and leave us a broader mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it in. Killer 7 says.
No, sorry.
Oh, the Chomage. Thank you, Chomage. The Chomage hairstyle. Yeah, I don't want to get that hairstyle. But who knows? And you'll never know. It might strike my fancy. And Zelty says people only think it's there, but it's a ruse to keep the secret of its actual location. Love it. Yeah, there's like a fake tourist trap version of Carn Arto. Come to Carn Arto. This is where the guy is, but it's not the real one.
Yeah.
Who is buried in Grant's tomb? That's the big secret. Do you know that? That's stupid. I don't know. It's like an American riddle. Who's buried in Grant's tomb?
No, I don't know.
And the answer is Grant. I think that's the answer. So it's not a very exciting riddle.
Okay. All right. Now we're on to Sui Khan Shinse. Finally.
Yeah.
So this is the capital city or town, place, location of the Afanc Isles. And I always describe this as an interesting place. Dude, I love this. Okay, I'm going to read it. I think I've read this on stream before, but I'm going to read it again.
Yeah, lay it on us.
Quote, in build, she was tremendously tall. In her demeanour, most terrifying. In the glint of her eye, fierce. And her voice cold as the waters that surrounded Suechan Shinsir. A great stream of the darkest hair fell to her hips. Her face was covered by a mask that glowed with a maelstrom of swirling patterns. Around her neck was a large golden torque embedded with jewels never before seen, and she wore a tunic of a multitude of colours upon which a thick cloak was fastened with a regal brooch that bore a fish and a snake. Her presence commanded complete attention. When she spoke, the birds, winds and waves fell silent. And there's a bard's account of Anshinsir, the Bren of the Afanc. What I like about this quote is that I wrote it, but that's not true. I didn't write it. This is a quote from a Roman text speaking of Queen Boudica. And then I altered some of the words to synonyms that then better described Anshinsir as opposed to Boudica. So I think she originally had red hair and I changed it to dark hair. And then the brooch I changed to a fish and snake instead of something else, but most of it is the same structure and the same lines from the Roman text.
Are you saying you stole words from a colonizing force and used it to uplift the colonized culture?
Yes.
Good on you.
Yes.
You're an ally. Good on you, bruv.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so there's a mention of Shurisan Sincere, and then we have a description of it here. Leadership. Yeah, Anshinsir, the elder, is led from Sincere. And then we say, here we go. Is the name given to both the Afanc's northernmost island and the wooden fort impossibly built into a craggy cliffside there. And it is there that Anshinsir holds court and rules over her clan. And that is all we say about it, I think.
Are we sticking with that? Is that something that needs to be retconned? We're good with
I think that... Let me check one more time in Against the Fairy Queen. In Against the Fairy Queen, we say that a rare decree from the wooden cliffside fortress of Shuichan Shinsir, where Anshinsir reigns, is always respected and upholds authority. And then we also mentioned it here as well. Interesting. What is this? Wall carvings. This represents a tower during the sorrows when the ever-elder created an extra moon to give her followers more time to prepare defences at Suichan Sincere against a Pendrike invasion. What the hell?
Oh.
Why did I write this? Apparently, at some point, the Pendrike invaded the Afanc lands. That's funny.
There you go. I thought it would have been. Well, I just assumed that all of the clans raided and invaded each other during the sorrows.
Probably.
Right?
That's what it says. It says during the sorrows. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of open. It's kind of open that they were all at open warfare, so that just gives us room to have ancient grievances against one another.
Yeah.
Killer 7 also notes that you should have a guy outside shouting, "Come here!" with a mini sign outside the fake Carn Arto, which I love. And they got lucky finding the place. Are you referring to Carn Arto? This is gonna be an in joke. We'll have Chrissy do some fan art or some fun art one day of just a guy pointing to fake Carn Arto. That'll be our stream inside joke.
So you're saying, should we retcon this? I don't think so. Yeah.
I just want to make sure because because you have the art of Anshinshir holding court, right?
Yeah, but that's just inside, so you have no idea what the context is outside.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Because it looks stone.
Right.
But I'm not sure. And it still can be.
Well, the way I imagine it is maybe there's the fortress in the cliffside. Maybe her quarters are inside the cliff itself. Could be done.
We did it.
Yeah.
We solved it. It's the walls are. Well, also it's it's.
You're right though. It is a bit strange because the Penobunk architecture is stone because they have no wood there. So it is a bit odd that we wrote this. I do wonder if we should retcon it a bit, unless we say something like, "Well, wood is so rare and precious there that she built a fortress out of it." I mean, they have boats, right? So they have to get the wood from somewhere.
Yeah, they must have forests and oak. They'll have woods. It's not completely barren of.
But I guess maybe they use the wood to build boats because there isn't much of it, and so they build their houses out of stone because the wood is precious or something like that, right? Maybe it's a sign of wealth then. The fact that a whole palace is built from wood, it could be a sign of wealth in the Penobunk lands.
Yeah. Let's consider. We don't have to make that firm decision now. But if we said that it's made of wood, then it could all be a facade of wood and mostly of stone, and that's fine too.
Built from wood could be considered a sign of wealth in Penobunk lands.
Oh, the Mexicans got lucky finding the Penobunk when they raided, right?
The Pendrag did. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The Pendrag got really lucky. No, they were. It was calculated. She let them raid.
Maybe. They also had divine help as well, right?
That's true.
Penobunk lands, since wood is primarily reserved for boats.
Guys.
Oh god. What was that?
What's that? Oh, sorry. Something. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that was you? Yeah. God, it was really loud in my ears.
Yeah, I don't know. I clicked on something accidentally, and when I was clicking through.
Okay.
And that was not good. So
okay.
My apologies.
I think that's it for the Penobunk lands. I don't think we mention anywhere else. Any throwaway places either. I don't think, except the Arain, which I've already mentioned. I guess I should check against Fairy Queen quickly to see if we mention any other isles or neighbouring towns or cities or sister places, but I don't think we do. So
I don't. I don't know if we do.
So we're kind of again open to adding other tribes and locations, which we should do, especially that trade. Basically, the big questions are what kind of tribe runs Knocknarfili, and that's the major town, I assume. Obviously, that tribe has to have some kind of role to do with bards and things like that, and storytelling and information exchange. Then there's going to be some kind of trading tribe as well. Then there's the royals.
And I guess hypothetically, the Age Federation on the southern shore of Kwanashinshir, that could also be the source of lumber, right? Trading there and building. It could probably have a shipbuilding industry on that coast.
You're right. That's really interesting, isn't it? There could be shipbuilding happening down here as well. Yeah.
And then they float them up to their tribes and kin up north a little bit, and to the poor folk, and there's there's socialism. There's a a buyback system. There's some dole. You give them to the. There's a whole system that they got of getting.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that trading tribe set hub. Maybe they could be primarily the shipwrights of the clans as well. Like everyone makes their own boats and things like that, but they make the best and the ones the royals rely on for certain things as well.
Yeah, and some of the leaders are chafing at the leadership because they're like, well, we're the ones that are really movers and shakers. We should be the ones we should have more say in how the major decisions are run. Blah blah blah. That kind of
yeah, exactly. And then I'm not sure what this other tribe might do, but they don't have to have a role. They could just be a tribe that occupies an island and they just do Penavunk stuff, right? They don't have to be special. They don't have to be written about either, really. Just named.
I mean, I feel like since service is also part of their portfolio, like the ideal of Naknafili, or like a tribe or groups or druid, like a group of druids or something, or bards that focus on the concept of like sharing stories and making that their goal. They're like a non-profit organization basically. Could be interesting, especially if they have a specific point of view of like what should sort of like what the culture should be of maybe they're purist about. Anyway,
are you talking about the tribe that runs Naknafili?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then for Sui Khan Shinsir, we're making them the spies, right? They're the spy producers.
Well, yeah, they're the royal house, right?
Right, yeah. Royal household that focuses on spy networks. Like, I think part of that secret for the Penavunk is that if you want a spy, you speak to the Penavunk, and they have spies all over Avalon. And all the clans use them and things like that, but what they don't know is that they're all tied directly to the royal household, and all the information is going up there as well. I feel like that's a secret. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so secret. Yeah, so this is a secret that will be in the book about the clan. So all the Penavunk are known to wear masks.
Yeah.
However, when they spy, a lot of them study the affectations of other clans, and then they just take off their mask and pretend to be from another clan.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And in some ways, that's actually similar, and maybe Killer 7's interested in this. There's a theory that's what ninja were. Are you familiar with this theory about ninjas?
You mentioned it last stream, but you can talk to Killer 7 Game quickly about it. Yeah.
There's a theory about the legend of like black clad men that can be true, but the actual ninjas were like the shogunates and the diplomats who would go from castle to castle, and they had the skill set to find information and do subterfuge and so on, and they just hid in plain sight. So that's what I heard. That's one theory about, and they might still be warriors. They might still do the ninja stuff to spy on information, but a lot of it too was misdirection because they basically hid in plain sight. And Killer also said that, to be fair, the pyramids were made from around 5.5 million tons of limestone, which was in the area. So it's possible to bring stuff to different places. Yeah, and that is a big part of trade. It doesn't take that many pieces of lumber to make a cool castle that's centuries old and reinforced. And they're good traders. They'll find their way to get stuff to get stuff. So I shouldn't be worried about that. I do like your idea of it being more of a little bit rarer, because they would definitely not worship wood, but they would value it in a different way from the other clans.
Yeah. And especially compared to the Penbai. Obviously, the Penbai worship wood and forest, but they're surrounded by it. It's just literally they breathe the stuff.
And also give them a reason to trade with like the Pen Levy too, who might also just like have bogwood and stuff like that. That's good for.
So now I really want to this spy network. It needs to have a name or something, but a secret name.
Well, okay. Here's the thing: if you're making it part of the, does it need to have a name? Because if you're making it part of the royal household and their responsibilities, why would you name? You wouldn't necessarily have to name your secret.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
It's cool to give them a name, but it's better if they don't and they can't be named. Right? So,
but actually, more on the woods point a second. Just looking at the map, like you have the Penavunk up here on these rocky, barren islands, and they rely off the sea to live and everything. And then their neighbours are the Penlevy, which again is mostly barren. There's some wood there, but not much, right? And then the Pendraig, which is mostly mountains, also quite barren of wood. And then you have to get all the way down to the Penbaev to then suddenly be wood plentiful. So yeah, I feel like wood would have a high value to them just because it's so sparse where they are, and then even at the neighbours it's sparse. Like you have to trade some distance between clan territories even to get to a wood-rich area. Yeah, so that's interesting.
And I guess hypothetically, they're of any clan probably more prone to trade with other cultures too. They might also be, aside from the Pen Cower, right, which trades with the Raxians and that. I feel like, the Pen Afanc might also have trade partners that the other clans aren't really privy to yet.
Yeah. Well, it's also interesting as well, because the Pen Cower, they trade to get money and wealth and status, right? But the Pen Afanc are trading for different reasons.
Sure.
Which is
knowledge and tech and survival.
And exchange, because trading means literally going places, and they want to see what's going on, right?
And get
that's part
information.
Of it. Yeah. Cool. All right, should we stop there then?
Yeah, I think that's a good amount of recap. A lot of good conversation had that'll help me flesh out the document I'm working on. So thank you. That's good. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for first time chatters. Killer 7, Zilphia always, constant listener, reader, Digs, Wait Table, Mac, Back Mike. Thank y'all for stopping by. Hit that subscribe button so that Twitch is like, oh, you guys have people watching you, and we're like, yeah, that's cool. I don't know. It's
quick thing actually. Actually, it's the 5 tribes. Like, if we have the shipwriting trade tribe, the storytelling bardic tribe, the royals, if we include Iranian there and say that they're fallen, so they're just not really talked about much anymore, then really it's just 4, and then there's just 1 more basically. And so we can focus on these 3. This one's down 4, and this one's just kind of whatever. Like, that's fine, I think. I think it's fine if the Pen Afanc are a bit smaller than the other clans. It kind of feels right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then also thinking, in the back of your mind, start thinking, about how many tribes are there in the other land?
Yeah. All right, should we rate someone then?
If you'd like.
Oh, we're the second most viewed stream at the moment. So should we go to the first most viewed stream?
Let's do the most viewed stream.
Okay.
Let's pass the wealth. Pass it on. Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. Okay, cool. Awesome.
That's right.
Thank you, everyone. Always the boss coming on, hanging out. 1 year. I know. 1 year anniversary is coming soon. I keep forgetting to mention this. I think it's the beginning of March is our 1 year anniversary of streaming. Yeah.
You shut your mouth.
I know, right? Isn't it crazy?
That is insane. All right. Killer, yeah, they were more spies than ninjas that you see in movies. That's right. And glad you know that fact. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, that's blowing my mind. I don't like it. I don't like the passage of time.
Yep, me neither.
But also, it's a privilege to see it. So
we are going to go raid these guys. They're doing Vecna, and I currently see some artwork for Erebos for Magic the Gathering on here, so I'm super keen to see what's happening.
All right, let's do it. 85. Let's get in on it.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, gang. Yeah, how do we do this again? All right.
You say you're ready or something?
Yeah.
And then we go say
Am I doing it?
I think so. All right. See you later, guys.